what verticals will be the biggest drivers for this kind of growth? Will it be e-commerce, logistics? In the past year, we've seen revenue from tourism as well as tuition transfers take a hit.
Hey, Sophie, I've seen significant growth in the e-commerce and digital vertical in the last few years, and the pandemic have accelerated the growth more than ever. So we continue to see the growth coming from these two verticals.
And what kind of numbers are you projecting for customer growth, and which markets do you anticipate the biggest jump?
I think majority of the growth are coming from Asia Pacific, but we also really expanding our growth in Australia, UK, Europe, and the US. So we are literally doubling our headcount from 600 people to more than 1,000 globally this year. So we're expecting to see growth in both sort of APAC and the developed US and European market.
Now, on the U.S., Airwallex planning to roll out services in just a few weeks. You would aim to secure licenses from all 50 states by this quarter. Is that still on track?
Yeah, of course. We have already secured more than sort of 40 states licenses. So this is an effort of over the last sort of 20 months. So it's a very complicated process to get all the licenses across all the states so that we can launch our product and services, especially for California and Texas, where most of the technology companies are based.
Now, last year, Airwallex enabled card payments using Visa and MasterCard. What's the progress of rolling out the service beyond the UK and Europe, and will more payment methods be added?
Yeah, so we have now have a pretty decent coverage in Asia Pacific. We rolled out our online payment processing product across APAC and then later launched in Europe. So we continue to see adding sort of new payment method as the consumers changing the way they prefer to pay. We continue to adding more exotic markets across sort of Asia and Southeast Asia to our payment supported list.
Now, WeChat Pay, that was added as a payment option in Australia, Hong Kong, and Singapore last summer. Will that be introduced in other markets as well?
Yeah, we'll continue to introducing sort of digital wallet as more and more people are using digital wallet as a preferred way of making payments. So we continue to supporting the rollout of this digital wallet across multiple markets, and we're also looking at supporting all the digital wallets in Europe and Southeast Asia.
Japan, targeted for launch this year for the company. What opportunities does that market provide, given that cash still very much dominates? The government aiming to boost payments from the digital side to 40% of all transactions by 2025 in Japan. So still quite a lot of market share to grab hold of.
We actually see a significant growth in the e-commerce sector in Japan, which is 17% of our customer base. So we are in the process of getting our license in Japan so that we are ready to launch our product in the markets. We also see a significant growth between Japan and other markets in Asia Pacific, for example, China. So more and more sellers are selling on Amazon Japan and selling on Shopify. So we're looking at capturing this opportunity by supporting businesses in other regions to enter the Japanese e-commerce market.
You're also looking to roll out in Malaysia, pending some regulatory approvals. Given the scrutiny that fintech as a whole, as an industry, has garnered around regulatory risks, is this something that you are preparing for in a worst-case scenario should you come under the crunch?
That's a very good question, Sophie. I think like all fintechs and banks, Airwallex is under the same sort of regulation, same regulators supervision. We are regulated in more than 60 markets around the world, including Hong Kong, US, and then Europe. So we will continue to build a very strong regulatory compliance team to supporting our growth, and also using technology to driving the different initiatives in AML and fraud, and try to using data at the same time and AI to help us to boost the capability in this area. to make sure that we are operating in compliance.
Any plans for an IPO, Jack?
It's not on the cards in the next year or two, but we definitely are considering in a sort of slightly long run, as the market is super hot for fintech right now. That definitely attracts a lot of eyeballs, and but we still believe in getting the funding from the private market right now, and just executing our growth strategy in these sort of markets that we just launched is going to be critical for our success and for our future IPO in the next few years.